Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bench. I am Rocco Granado from InLacrosseWeTrust.com, and with me, as usual, is none other than Gary Groove from LaxPhilly.com. Gary, the song that I'm going to continue to play week in and week out is self-explanatory.
It is, and my hands are getting awful sore from typing so much. I'm doing very, very well, Rocco. I'm freezing out here, but I'm doing very, very well out here. 80 goals in 4 games is not a thing to sneeze at, now is it?
No, it's not. And, I kind of, shocked you a bit when I said who I was going to go with in the Toronto game last week, and it was self-explanatory. We saw exactly why they were. We both picked them to win by a large margin. The depth of the scoring and of the offensive assault that they have is so much more than what New England has.
Sure, but nobody expected New England to be shut down to 2 goals in the second half altogether. It was just an incredible thing to watch, and they look very, very ordinary. Aaron Bull looked very ordinary in that game as well.
Yeah.
But he was left hung out to dry many times, and they did basically what they wanted to do at any given time.
Yeah,
And when you take a look at that trade now of Burns for LeBlanc, I would definitely say that Toronto got the upper hand on that trade. LeBlanc, two goals. He did take some stitches over the eye, he did get a good shot there, but
yeah.
Burns had 2 goals and an assist. He was back-checking left, right, and center. He's a gazelle out there. He's a catalyst. And he's gotten that entire transitional team moving at warp speed, which has become a force and a half. So it's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, and, right now I would have to agree with you that Toronto got the better part of that deal. And, when you only have 2 major parts scoring, and one of the major parts didn't even get a goal in Sean Evans in that game. Okay, you have Evans and Crowley, who are the main 2 goal scorers on that team. Okay, and between the 2 of them, the only person that scored was Crowley. He got 2 of the goals. And then, like I stated before, Kyle and Kevin Buchanan, they go hot, cold, hot, cold. Lately, it's been more cold. Okay, probably colder than it is there.
Well, I would go with ice cold, yeah.
Yeah, the past week, Kevin Buchanan got a goal and an assist, and so did Kyle Buchanan. Well, that ain't going to help you. Okay, it's really not. They shut down Evans, Sean Evans. He got nothing except 3 assists. Crowley had 2 goals. David Brock had 2 goals. And Stefan LeBlanc had 2 goals. That's 6 of your 9 goals. Okay? LeBlanc, who just came over, Crowley, and David Brock.
If David Brock is one of your top scorers,
yeah,
you're not winning very many games.
Exactly. David's a hell of a player, hell of a transition and defensive player. But if you got to rely on him scoring, that means that your offense isn't scoring at all, and just like you said, you're not going to win many games at all. And, you shut down Sean Evans to just 3 assists and only 8 shots. It just...
So when you look at the Toronto juggernaut,
yeah.
You start with Tom Schreiber with 5 goals, 7 assists, and he's just learning the game still. He's only in year 2.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, that's scary to think of, But
that'll put a spot on the seat.
Yeah.
Adam Jones with 5 goals and 4 assists.
Hellier
Bob Hellier with 4 goals and 5 assists.
Yeah.
I believe he's feeling it now.
Yeah. Reed Reinhold.
Reinhold with 2 goals, 3 assists. We already talked about Sheldon Burns with 2 goals and an assist.
McCardle, 1 and 3.
Our 6th round pick.
Yeah, I mean,
had a goal and an assist to add to this. You know, everywhere you look, Brett Hickey had a goal. Now he only had a goal. So, yes, when he's on the floor, you're going to have to put somebody on there to stop a double team from somewhere else.
To me, you know what it looks like to me?
That opens 4 other players.
Yeah, it looks like to me that all 5 players guarded Hickey, and they left Schreiber, Jones, and Hellier open.
Well, Schreiber, he didn't need to worry about anybody guarding. He just flew over top of them.
Yeah.
1 goal, he scored off balance, falling backwards. Another goal, he flew over the crease. I don't think you really need to worry about that. I don't think you can guard him anymore.
No, and we can't sit here and say, oh, well, they went 8 for 9 on the power play and the penalties really did them in. There was only 2 penalties called the whole entire game.
Yep. Yeah,
2.
And they were at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah, one at 7:45 of the first for holding of the stick on Coyle, and Cree got a holding call at 7:14 of the final quarter. That was it. So it was a well played game. You know, you had no cheap shots. Both benches knew how to count to 5. You know, so you didn't have any bench minors going on. But it was just, you know, like we talked about last week, the Toronto offense is so deep in scoring and in offensive power that I just, you know, like I said, I didn't see New England even having a chance in this game. None whatsoever. I mean, you know, plus with it being in Toronto. And they just been on a roll. I mean, you know, you're not going to stop them right now.
Yeah. I just want to get off track for a second. We had some fantastic news today. It's not quite lacrosse news, but it is part of the lacrosse world. Kevin Nybar, my associate, my friend, your friend, he had some news today. He went to the doctors. Now, we all knew that Kevin was shot back a few months back.
Yes.
And really, the whole story is amazing. He's alive.
Yeah.
He went to the doctors today, and doctor asked, you know, what's your goal in life, really? And his answer simply was wrestling with my grandsons, teaching them hockey, baseball, lacrosse, you know, mainly wrestling. An hour after x-rays, exams, tests, you're physically cleared to do all of the above.
Wow.
Ain't that awesome?
Wow.
Teaches grandkids all the games he wants. He wants to thank you personally for your support, everybody out there for their support, and, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, me and Kevin, we go way back from like day 1 of the Philadelphia Wings. Okay, so yeah, we have a little bit of a history, you know, seeing each other during the games and talking about the games after, and you know, everything like that. So, you know, we always talk about how lacrosse is a family. Okay, this is our family. Okay, you'll hear people refer to it as, oh, my lacrosse family, or my family in Canada or in Rochester or Buffalo. Because no matter where you go, you know you have those people. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And for this kind of news, this is a mini miracle is what we're seeing.
Yeah, and not to get off the track, but you know, my mom was doing some battling too, and we got really some good news too, where she won't need to have radiation done on her brain or her lung. There's a pill that she can take, and hopefully that'll help everything in her fight with cancer. So, you know, a lot of good news is happening. You know, I don't want to go too much into it because that's not what my mom wants, but yeah, we got good news on our side of the family. So it seems like there's a lot of miracles going on, you know, right now.
Definitely.
A whole heck of a lot. And, you know, it's so good to hear that the doctor told Kevin, you know, you can do all that now.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic news.
You can do it all. You can, you know, go back living the way you were doing it. And I know that had to be very, I guess, emotional would be the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
Okay. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Kevin sat there and cried.
Mm-hmm.
Because with what happened, and I know you saw the photos, I seen them. I'm pretty sure most of the people he's friends with on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever through social media has seen the pictures. All this happened to a person who would give you the shirt off his back.
And he was actually in the process of helping somebody.
Yes, he was helping the person that shot him. He was seeing if they were okay and everything, what was going on, and and then he turns around and, I believe what he said was, when he was interviewed by local TV here, that it felt like he got hit in the back of the head with a metal bat or something. He said that's what it felt like. And for it to enter where it did and come out where it did, and for him to have that 100% recovery like this, it is a miracle. It really, really is. And, as a friend, I am so glad to hear that, knowing that everything is going to be fine with him. Physically, I know mentally and kind of emotionally, you might go through some...
I still got a roads to go, but at least...
bad dreams or whatever, bad memories, things like that. But I think Kevin knows that, hearing that from the doctor, knowing he has the support of everybody out here in the lacrosse community, the lacrosse world, it's just fantastic news, and I know it'll put a smile on everybody's face.
And as Kevin would say, now let's get back to this show.
Yeah, because Kevin's never one to put himself up on a stand, but if we have to, we'll do it for him.
For sure.
So.
As Roddy Piper once said, you don't blow your own horn, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. You know what? And for the amount of time he's covered the game, hey, he deserves it. And and he went, and even through all this, he was still getting credentials for people, for certain events. He got me and my son a credential for the lacrosse convention the other weekend, where we were able to get in and interview people and things like that. So, Kevin will do anything he possibly can. So, and like you said, in the words of Kevin, let's get back to the show. Yeah.
All right. Well, we actually had a game before the
before that,
game.
yeah. But I just figured it was a good segue from the song to that. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, we'll put a cap on the recap. 21-9 was the final. You had 3-2 Toronto at the end of one, 10-7 at the half.
Yeah, it was still an attainable game.
Yeah, and then the third quarter, 14-9. You still got a shot.
Well, keep in mind that New England was actually up 2-1 when David Brock hit a shorthanded goal.
Right.
At 8:24, so we're thinking there, what kind of game are we in store for?
Yeah.
And then 5 in a row. Then 3 in a row from New England.
Yeah, and then a couple by Toronto and New England, 2 more by Toronto. It went like 2-1, 2-1. And then when you got the third into the fourth, you had 2 by Toronto, 2 by New England, and then after that, the last 7 goals of the game were all Toronto.
For the game, because you had 2 in the third as well.
Yeah. Well, the last 9, yeah. And what's funny is 6 of those 7 in the fourth quarter came within the first 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Mm-hmm. And actually, they were 4 minutes and 12 seconds apart. They scored 6 goals.
And Aaron Bull got pulled after the second goal of the fourth quarter, so giving up 2 goals in 45 seconds in the fourth. That was finally the last straw for Glenn Clark to put in Doug Jamieson.
2 goals in 14 seconds.
Yeah, 45 seconds in.
Yeah.
And he was welcomed with a couple of goals in a couple of minutes as well.
Yeah.
2 goals and 4 goals in 3.5 minutes. So.
Yeah, it was just.
And then Toronto basically took their foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
Because they kept control.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the other stats, the shots 64-55 in favor of Toronto, loose balls 88-85, fairly close, but Toronto with that, in that favor there. The face-offs 17-16 in favor of New England. But yeah, you look at those numbers and you're thinking, oh, probably a close game. Far from it.
Far from it.
Far from it.
Cole's played one of the best games he's played all year. He had a couple of weird ones going on him, but overall, he was flying all over the place.
Yeah.
He made a couple of very, very strange highlight reel goals. He was moving around very well.
Yeah, more than one.
So he's back in that conversation again of top goalies in the league.
Yeah. So that ended up putting Toronto into a first place tie with New England 6 games into the season. Now, it's the first time. It's the first time they played each other, so obviously Toronto will hold the tiebreaker right now. But both teams right now are sitting at 4-2. Toronto has scored 100 goals so far this year. They're the first team to hit triple digits. They've only allowed 68, and they hold a 3-1 record at home and 1-1 on the road. New England drops to 4-2. 66 goals for them, 82 against. And 2 games this year, they had more than 20 goals, at least more than 20 scored on them. Saskatchewan did it to them, and now Toronto's done it to them. So there's where you see that 16-goal differential in the goals for and goals against. They're 3-0 at home. They're the only team that's left undefeated at home, but they're 1-2 on the road. So that's where those two teams stand right now. Now, you said before that we had a game on Friday night, which was
much closer than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and for a moment I found myself rooting for Vancouver.
Well, the last couple of minutes, that just kind of put it out. But wow.
Yeah.
And I think I'll be saying that again later on when we talk about Vancouver. Wow.
Yeah, I mean it was Ryan Benesh put Colorado up 12-11 with 7 minutes to go in the game. Then within a span of 2 minutes and 16 seconds, Vancouver scored twice. And they take a 13-12 lead. After that, the following 2 goals that were scored had John Grant Jr., who was in between the benches, shaking his head. Because Jeremy Noah just did just unbelievable, going top far side for the tying goal, and then the winning goal with 31 seconds to go, and both of them assisted by Joey Caputo.
Yeah, he was easily the quickest player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was one of those games. You did have a number of penalties, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, Vancouver is starting to come to life, but they just can't
see. They could easily, instead of being 1-6, with a couple of bounces in their direction, be 4-3. Honestly.
Yeah.
How many 1-goal or 2-goal games have they been involved in?
Too many.
Where they're on the opposite end of it. They had some rough ones to start with.
Yeah.
But really, when they have everybody working, and since they made the goalie change, they've been a viable commodity here.
Yeah, and you know what? The one thing that bothers, that I don't want to say bothers me, but when you look at the 1 and 2 goal games that they're losing, I wonder how many of those are without Logan Shush in the lineup.
Yeah, he's had an awful lot of work commitment this year.
Yeah.
But it's also, you take a look, and Reese Dutch in this game had 1 goal, 6 assists. You got Corey Small going now at 4 goals and 5 assists. But he's the only one really going. Tony Malcolm with 4 goals. But you look at the rest of them. Where are they?
Yeah.
They're not there. They're not producing. They're being paid to produce. We have other people on the floor that can assist.
Yeah.
Reese needs to score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Logan Schuss, when he's playing, needs to score.
Yeah. I mean, Reese Dutch, 1 goal, 6 assists. I mean, that's not him.
No.
Yeah. It should be 4-3 or 5-1. Somewhere like that. But they're getting that close. Yeah, that's why I said, like, with certain teams, they may need that, just that one other piece to put it over the top. In this case, for Vancouver, to put them over to 2, 3, 4 wins. You know, to stop losing those 1-goal games.
Mm-hmm.
And, you think, Logan Shush in the lineup, who knows, with him in the lineup, maybe they would have won the game. We don't know.
Well, the reason why Colorado won is you have Ryan Benesh, who's paid to score, 4 goals, 2 assists. You had Eli McLaughlin, 2 goals, 1 assist. You had Jeremy Noble with 2 really important goals, but 3 goals, 5 assists on the night.
Right.
Stephen Keogh was a factor in this one also. A goal and 2 assists, but he was also all over the place and doing what he used to do for Rochester. So he's got his legs back.
Right.
You have Jacob Ruiz with 5 assists. That's what he's paid to do, is set these things up. So, where it's supposed to be coming from, it is coming from. And, of course, let's not forget Joey Capito with 8 loose balls, a goal and 2 assists, but also being an absolute force. And when you have that kind of speed, you set everything upside down. Nothing is set. No set plays. And the entire opposing bench knows he's coming, so nobody can be set, which sets up penalties also for guys jumping early.
Right.
So, the Loud House was just that. It was good and loud. 12,000 there.
Yeah, good. Yeah, a good solid crowd there. I mean,
good crowd and a loud crowd.
Yeah.
Hence the name Loud House, but they lived up to their expectations.
Yeah, and you know what? And here you could probably honestly say that penalties were the killer here.
Oh, for sure.
Because Colorado went 5 for 8 on the power play.
Yeah, early and often they went power play goals.
5 for 8. I mean, that'll kill you every single time. I mean, it's just and some of them are just stupid penalties. You have.
We talked about this. You have your illegal substitution a couple of times.
3 of them, 3 times.
Goodwin jumping.
Well, it wasn't Goodwin. Goodwin was the in-home player.
He's the in-home.
Yeah, he's the in-home.
Guys jumping early.
Yeah. 3 times they got called for a bit. Somebody couldn't count to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 3 of those penalties there. Let's see what other Vancouver penalties they have. They had a trip. The 3 bench minors.
Yeah, a couple of goalie interference calls.
A goalie interference. Well, yeah, the Colorado got one also. Illegal cross check.
Holding the stick a few times from both of them.
Both teams got it holding the stick, and then slash. Yeah, slash in a hole.
The illegal substitution one. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Speed kills. And these guys are jumpy because they know that they're going to beat on transition. So they're trying to get a little bit of an edge, and they got called 3 separate times.
Yeah, I think they scored on each one, too.
That definitely makes it a killer.
Yeah, they did. They scored on each one.
Yep, so that's being
wait a minute.
Paid off in full. It's a killer. Those are like a walk in baseball and then a home run to kill you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on each of the bench minors, they scored. So right there, 3 goals right there, and you lost the game by 1.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
all getting jumpy.
Yeah.
So, Vancouver's got a bit of work to do, but you know what? At least their rudder is in the right way.
Yeah.
They're moving the ship forward. So I have a feeling that we're going to see things flip around in the next near a bit, because when we get to the Calgary game, we discussed that, which is another one that was a head shaker in my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, at 1-6, and they're only half a game out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's been
the West for the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I mean, they outshot Colorado 51-46. Face-offs went Colorado's way 18-13, and so did the loose balls 80-69. And like I said a little while ago, the penalties, Colorado 5 for 8 on the power play. Scoring 3 of them on the bench minors, which is a real killer. So now, like you said, that brought Vancouver. It brought them to 1-5, and we're saying 1-6 because they ended up losing the following night, and we'll get to that game as well. 0-3 at home. They got 0-3 at home and 1-3 on the road. I mean, the team has a hard time winning on the road to begin with as a franchise. Now they can't even win at home. I mean, so something needs to happen. Something needs to happen for them in a good way, and it needs to happen quick.
Well, yeah.
So that was that game. Now we go to the other head shaker of a game.
Yeah, and again, it looked an awful lot like that Buffalo game from the couple of weeks back.
Yes.
Where Saskatchewan jumps out to a very big lead, and all of a sudden they get bored. And that's what I think it is. They just aren't being challenged, and they get bored. Mm-hmm. And then they beat themselves. Because, there's no reason that this game, when you have a 10-4 lead at the half, there's no reason that this game should ever get close. Especially when you're as talented as the Saskatchewan Rush team is. We were talking, especially in the first couple of weeks, how deep they are in everything. Offense, defense, transition, and goaltending. Deep.
Yep.
Now, I think it was Evan Schemenauer brought it up a few weeks back, is the biggest problem, especially sitting in the West, is complacency. Is in order to be a championship team, you have to keep getting tested and sharpened and keep you on the edge of your seat there and, honed at one-goal games. You can pull those out, and anything else that's possible that can get thrown in your way, you're prepared for. But when you're jumping out to 8-goal leads and 9-goal leads and 14-goal leads and 7-goal leads, you tend to get bored and it just becomes routine. And It starts becoming like a practice. Yeah,
especially when you play the same team three or four times.
You get the momentum moving again, especially of an entire team.
Right.
It to be a little bit difficult. And it bit them in the butt against Buffalo. It darn near bit them in the butt against Calgary.
Yeah.
Something that nobody would have figured out either.
No.
Because I figured this would have been by a touchdown.
Yeah, easily.
I was looking to be correct at the half. But all of a sudden, kudos, the people who were supposed to get goals were getting goals. Curtis Dixon had a bunch of goals. Mitch Wild was in there. They actually woke up. Curtis Dixon had 5 goals and an assist in this game. Dane Dobie, we had a showing from him at 2 goals and 5 assists.
Yep.
Even Riley Lowen in there with a goal and 2 assists. Tyler Pace, that's nice to see, has a goal and 3 assists as well. So things are coming along there, but again, the finishing, Calgary's not very good at that.
No.
And my goodness, we even had Tyler Carlson play 9 seconds in this game. That's 9 whole seconds more than he played at this point last year. So I don't know if he can keep up this torrid pace.
Don't do that to me.
The torrid pace that he's keeping, he's going to have to relax because he has to save some of it for being pulled in MSL.
Yeah, wow. You know who?
To say Saskatchewan, the usual guys are getting the points, and it's coming from all angles. It just, for some reason, they're taking the foot off the gas, and they've done it in 3 games now.
Yeah.
It only cost them in 1, but we talked about this last year when they started losing a few. Eventually, this stuff all comes back to get you. So, they're playing Vancouver this week, right?
I believe so, yeah.
There's a Twitter game of the week.
Well, they actually have 2
games. They need to make a message.
They got 2 games this week.
Yeah. That's right. The one big one in Colorado as well.
Yeah, and when
they're not on their toes for that one, that's a defeat.
Yeah, and when we start to go to look at those games, I'm going to question why a certain thing is going on and why it's something else. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, so again, with both the goalies splitting the time there, Del Bianco played the most of it.
He impressed
in there for a bit.
He impressed me with the way he was playing. I mean, yeah, he let up 8 goals in 49 minutes, but
he's a good little goalie.
Yeah.
He's still 19, right? So he's still got time in junior.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's strange when you're looking at him here at the NLL club, and then you're going to watch him in Junior A in the summer. And he looks tiny with the Adnacs there. But, you know, he's going to be a good goalie if he doesn't get his confidence completely shaken playing for Calgary right now.
Right. Yeah, and then
you know, when you have his kind of speed too, being young and gazelle-like, it helps.
Well, yeah,
especially when you're from behind and need to keep pulling your goalie.
Right now, here's the thing. You know, we talked about, you know, the expansion draft and things like that. You got to wonder who's going to. Maybe somebody might take him. You know.
Possible, but I would think that's down on the depth charts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
comparative to some of the other goalies that might be left out on the list. But that remains to be seen still.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, the game went to overtime, and for a second there, I thought, you know, Calgary was going to do it. They were going to put the ball in, and that would, you know, be it.
Yeah, and then you would have sent home 4 busloads of Saskatchewan fans in Rush Hulk masks. Very unhappy.
Just a little bit unhappy, I think.
But by the way, they made a heck of a lot of noise, and they were seen.
Yes, they were seen.
They really did the team proud. They were the 7th man out there, so to speak.
Yeah, and then Ben McIntosh, yeah, Saskatchewan gets their chance. 46 seconds into the overtime. Who else with him putting the assist on the score sheet? Robert Church. I mean, yeah, and they basically escaped with a win there.
Yeah, nice crowd. 11,196. Really good crowd over in Calgary. As well as kudos to the Saskatchewan fans who made the trip from all over the place, from Edmonton as well as Saskatchewan.
Only 7 penalties were called, so fairly well played game. My thing is this: with, you know, you were talking about how, you know, in the West, it's the complacency thing. Okay, where they're playing Vancouver 3-4 times, they're playing Calgary the same number of times, and you know, by both teams' records right now, they have 2 wins between them and 11 losses. And you're like, well, that's how they get at least 6 of their wins, 6 or 8 of their wins right there. But these teams play tough. My thing is, what they should have been doing when they went to 9 teams. You're playing 18 games, okay? Just make it one division. You play every team twice, once at home, once on the road, okay? And the top 6 get in. That's what you do. The top 6 all together make the playoffs. First 2 get a bye, like you normally do right now, and then you pair them up. That's what you do. I mean, it makes it, a whole lot easier where Edmonton isn't playing Vancouver 3-4 times, and same thing with Calgary. They're playing, Colorado twice, Vancouver twice, Calgary twice. Then they're playing Rochester twice, New England twice. And plus everybody won't get to see the teams along with it. But I just think it would make it a lot easier. And it's not like you're playing a best out of 7 in the playoffs. It's one and done. So, you travel one place, boom, you're done. That's it. Until, the finals come about. That's what I think they should have done when it got dropped down to 9 teams.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
I mean, I don't see where, there could be any kind of problems with that. I mean, it's right there. You have an even amount of games. You have the 18 games. There's 9 teams total. Okay, you're playing 18 games, so you're going to have to play somebody else, 2 other teams 2 more times, because that'll only give you 16 games. Okay, so you need 2 more games. So that's where you play a team in your division, another team or 2, another time or what have you. You do that. And that's it. I mean, just to kind of, I guess you could say even it out, or just, it's kind of like the old way where the top so many got in, and no matter where they were, you had, maybe you get back to the old days where you have, Toronto and Rochester playing for the Cup one year, or, Buffalo and Philly, now Philly coming back, Buffalo, Philly, or, things like that. You put the top teams in it. That's what you do.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the divisional things either.
No, I mean, especially when you only have 9 of them. You only have 9 teams. When 3 out of the 4 get in it in the West, come on, it's like
it becomes a 17 or 18 game preseason.
Yeah, I mean, we know in the West that most likely, unless something happens, that you're going to have Saskatchewan and Colorado, and Calgary knows that they don't have that strong of talent like the other 2 teams have. They have talent, but not as deep, but not as strong. And they know, all we got to do is get by Vancouver and we're in. And then we'll go from there.
Which isn't good for fan attendance either, because
right.
You're not going to win.
Right. Meanwhile, in the East, you got New England, Buffalo, Toronto, Rochester, and Georgia. That's like a power division there. Those teams do nothing but fight like a bloodbath, It's like Roman gladiators out there.
Yep, night in, night out, week in, week out.
Yeah. So it's, you never know what's going to happen there. All 5 of those teams will fight to the final week to see who gets into the playoffs. And at that point, the 5th place team could shoot up to be the number 1 team. You never know. Because of the way the tiebreakers go and, things like that. So that's why I say, go with the one division, everybody plays each other twice, and, you have two other games left, and you fill them in, however you want. But you at least play everybody twice with that. And then you take the best 6 and let it all pan out from there. So what? Maybe one year you have Saskatchewan, Colorado playing for the Cup. If that happens, it happens,
Well, those would be the 2 best teams then, wouldn't they?
Right. Yeah. I mean, everybody says, well, you need a team from the East and you need a team. No, you don't. You don't need one from the East, one from the West. Okay? Because years before, we had, how many times have we had Buffalo and Philly, Buffalo, Philly, Toronto and Philly, Toronto and Rochester, Philly and Rochester. Then of course you had teams start to move out west, and that's when they started doing that. But I think if you just keep it in one division with something like that, you can do something better where you have you have the talent going for that. Now, 2 new teams coming in, things might get a little more interesting out in the West. Because now they're going to have 5 teams. So, back on track. We had Saskatchewan beats Calgary 13-12 in the overtime. We went over the Toronto game. Toronto over New England 21-9. The last game we have on the schedule, Georgia and Vancouver. Vancouver comes home after a tough-fought game. And I know it, and you know it. We both figured Georgia's going to run all over them. Somebody's got to run all over them. Especially after the way they just fought tooth and nail. That wasn't the case. We didn't have Miles Thompson in the lineup. But you had Lyle Thompson in there. He got his 3. Randy Stocks got 4. Yeah, so there's 7 of the 16 right there. John Ronigan even chipped in with 2 goals in this game. I'm trying to look. Shane Jackson, 2 goals, 7 assists. I mean, come on. That's just, unbelievable. Kyle Matisse, 5 assists. But Vancouver was right there again. And if you look at the score sheet, look at who was in the lineup for Vancouver for this game. Logan Shush.
Logan Shush was in, yeah.
3 goals, 5 assists, 7 loose balls. That's what they were missing the night before.
Yeah, that probably would have given them a win the night before we were playing.
Easily. But, we understand, players have work commitments. We are well aware of that. What I'm saying is it's just...
He'll always be playing at home now, right?
Yeah. It's just a shame that there's some road games he's not going to be able to make. And that's, those 1 or 2 goal games that they're losing, and that could mean all the difference between the playoffs and non-playoffs. It's not his fault, at all. He's got a regular job, and that's what majority of these players have. But that's why I've said I think Toronto needs to get another sniper, somebody of a Logan Shush caliber, or even a notch below that, maybe. Somebody else who could put that ball in the net when needed. But, he had 3 and 5. Joe McCready, 3 and 2. Corey Small, 3 and 2. Reese Dutch, 1 and 4. Reese Dutch loading up on the assists and not the goals. He needs to put that ball in the net. That's what he gets paid for. On this team, to put the ball in the net. Granted, the other guys are picking it up. Like we said, McCready, Shush, Corey Small. There's another person in that I guess you say, fearsome foursome. Reese Dutch.
Yeah, he's been fairly silent this year.
Very silent.
He's been hot and cold. Very, very hot and very, very cold.
Yeah.
Like 5 goals, 18 assists this year. He's being paid to score.
Yeah. 5 goals in 6 games. That is not him.
No.
So that means he's on pace to have a 15-goal season.
Yeah, that makes you shake your head a little bit, because I think back to the Reese Dutch and Ratcliffe days where he would be up around 45.
Yeah.
Back when Vancouver, or at that time Washington, or at that time San Jose were viable contenders continually, year after year.
Yeah. And, you look at it now. What'd you say? He has 5 goals, 18 assists right now?
Yeah.
So that means he's looking at 15 and 54. 15 goals, 54 assists is what he's on pace for. That's just not him.
Yeah, numbers. That's transitional numbers.
Yeah. That's just not him. So he needs to be putting that ball in the net. And guy, like you said earlier in the show, Eric Penny, since he's been in the lineup, he lost the last 2 games, but he's playing phenomenal.
He is, and he's keeping them in games. There's no reason why these games aren't winnable.
Right.
Like, that's not the fault. Before, we were seeing the goalies get lit up. That game against Toronto at 24-7, the goalies got lit up. It looked like they had, peewee goalies in there. I wouldn't even put them at junior B goalies in there. They got lit up like Christmas trees. Here, ever since Penny has come back into the nets, they have been viable on that end. Now they need to fix up transition and offense.
Offense, right.
They need to get more than just 2 or 3 people. They need to have more options. Because you double team 2 of them, and you don't really care about the other ones, and you're good. you're still good.
Yeah, I mean, he had a heck of a night. I mean, 43 out of 58 shots. He stopped. Yes, he let in, 15 goals. But since he's been, added to the active roster, and it was funny because we talked about it, during one of our shows, saying, maybe they ought to bring Penny off the practice squad. It might help, get a shiny new Penny between the pipes.
Well, and it being 10-9 after 3, it's very, very attainable. And then Vancouver came up very, very flat in the 4th, giving up 5 goals.
5 straight, yep.
Yeah, and then even though they got 3 of them back, pretty much, their tank was on E at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
and you had a hard weekend of playing.
Yeah, you're trying to battle back. You're down 15-9 with just 6:39 to go in the game, 6.5 minutes, and you're down by 6. That means you got to score on every single possession just to tie it.
And they pulled the goalie and they used extra attackers on him, and they tried.
Yeah.
But at that point,
yeah, they got 2 of them.
Carrying quicksand up to your waist, it's not that easy to step out of the hole.
No, it's not. It really isn't. It's we always said it's hard to fight back. 5-goal game is not that hard to come back from. But when you get down into the final quarter and you're down to, say, maybe 8 minutes, you're looking at, okay, you'll have the ball possibly 8 more times. If each team holds it for 30 seconds. You'll have it 8 more times.
So much psyche, because with 2.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, they were tied.
Yeah.
And then the floodgates opened. And, with the goal in the 3rd as well as those, you had 6 in a row. Now, all of a sudden, it's not even so much being a 5 or 6 goal game. It's the point that you were there. And now you're way down again. And it's just, wow. And you can almost feel the air come out of the balloon.
Yeah.
And I'll give them credit that they didn't just fold up the tent and say, next week, that they did fight back with 3 goals. So there is some fight in this team. It's just whether Jamie Batley is the right guy with his staff, and if he can get these guys in the right direction for an entire game. I've been talking about this for 2 years now. Is Batley the right guy for the job for this?
Job, right.
And I'm not convinced.
No. I think after this year, I think there will be some changes.
There has to be, because, this is a track record of going back a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And there was already rumblings last year about how the coaches and the players weren't getting along, and, there was no Tuesday practice, and, all kinds of different things going on in there. And we'll see. But, there was, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. And,
they're 1-6.
Yeah, and they only got 45 shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's low. That's like 11 shots a period.
Against a team like Georgia, against a team like Saskatchewan, against a team like Toronto, you're not going to get many wins with that.
No.
Colorado, when you have solid goaltending, 45 saves is nothing.
No. Yeah, that, I mean...
Now, Poulin obviously wasn't really on his game either. Because he only made, 33 saves.
Yeah.
So, when Poulin can have an off night and still steal a win, that just makes him all the stronger when he's on.
Yeah, and they did this without Miles Thompson in the lineup either.
Mm-hmm.
You got Lyle. Lyle was in there. You got 3 and 3. Like I said, Randy Stotts had 4 and 1. So there's 7 of your goals. I mean, Randy had 15 shots and Lyle had 9 shots right there. So there's almost half your shots, but.
Interestingly enough, Cal Matisse, he had 5 assists on transition. So he was obviously dishing off to guys who were flying off the bench.
Yeah.
Guys like Randy Stotts and Lyle Thompson. But here's what I kept hearing about how great a pick Zed Williams was. If there wasn't 5 loose balls that he collected, really there was no reason for him to be in the lineup. Nothing. No goals, no assists.
He caused 2 turnovers.
Oh, yeah, well, thank goodness for that, yeah?
Yeah.
you expect when you're being hailed as a top pick that guys like Josh Byrne, Tom Schreiber, all these other guys are producing.
Right.
They may not be producing at whirlwind numbers, but they're producing. And I'm not convinced.
No.
5 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Even though he's technically listed as transition, he was a forward, and
Yeah.
I expect him to be a little bit more in the play.
Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth on that one.
Yeah. Ethan O'Connor, it's nice to see him back with the team. 1 assist, so he's still getting the ring rust off of him. Of course, what you get from Randy Stotts is what you get from Randy Stotts. And, pretty soon when his brother makes it up there, look out.
Yeah.
Austin comes up, and that's going to be a 1-2 punch, and if Georgia has the pick for that,
Well,
it'll be the Thompson-Stotts team.
Yeah, but if he comes out for this draft...
He should be in this draft coming.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be San Diego or Philly.
Depending on trades.
Yeah. So, if Philly gets the number 1 pick, you could expect him to go there. That's the thing. It's all going to depend who's going to get that first pick.
Now, I got a couple of interesting things here. Steve Govett had mentioned that he can't pay Marichek because we were talking about Marichek before. He was mentioning, interestingly enough, that he can't pay Marichek enough to relocate, so you don't have to worry about him going to San Diego.
Oh no, I can tell you he's not going to San Diego. I can tell you where he's going.
But the interesting thing is that Govett still lives in Denver, and there's no word of a coach or a GM for them yet.
For San Diego.
Govett hasn't relocated.
Ah.
But just that San Diego had interest in Marichek was interestingly enough.
Yeah, but he won't go there.
I can't really put my picks say who, but I think they're going to see don't be surprised if Buffalo makes a roster move or 2 before the New England game. So just to keep your eyes open for that one this weekend.
Oh, it'd be like one Billy O'Brien being there.
Very possible, but
yeah.
Nothing is for sure.
No, nothing is sure. No, but
just rumbling around that there's a few things on the go there.
Well, I can tell you right now that I mentioned it last week with Tom Marichek being at the lacrosse convention. Him and Paul Day have a long-going relationship, and he said that Paul did mention to him about being the offensive coach in Philly, and he would definitely take that job if it was offered to him. So who knows? You may have the all-time leading point getter for Philadelphia for the Wings, the previous Wings, as your offensive coach.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
And the NLL had some news this week. They're excited to welcome Jay Alter and Brendan Glasheen to a broadcast team, and they're going to join Brian Shanahan doing the Twitter Game of the Week. Now, this is interesting. It seems like a good move because if they have a standard broadcasting crew dedicated to the Twitter Game of the Week, that could be like the old NBC Game of the Week for baseball.
Right.
Where you're used to the crews, and you get to know, and they get to know what the fans want and how it's to be called, and you don't have to worry about some of the crews that we've been listening to lately, which have not been too flattering by any stretch of the imagination. And with Shanahan, part of that thing, there's an awful lot of information going to come. So I think that's a great thing. Now the unclear thing is this. Especially like we're talking about Vancouver against Saskatchewan as the Twitter Game of the Week this week. You have Jake Elliott doing his radio broadcast. You have Dave Thomas and John Fraser on 98 Cool for Saskatchewan doing their broadcast. And in the past, it's been said that they can have no more than 2 broadcast setups they've made more room or made different arrangements or what. That's the logistical thing that I'm not quite sure about.
Yeah.
I want to thank the Saskatchewan Rush Fan Club and Mark for the information on this one. I find that to be very interesting.
Yeah, well, what I find interesting is the Twitter game of the week. You have, now not taking anything away from Vancouver, okay? They're sitting at 1-6, and Saskatchewan is sitting with, I believe, a 5-1 record right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5-1. Okay, you got 5-1 versus 1-6 as the Twitter game of the week. But meanwhile,
would have made Saskatchewan, Colorado the game of the week, but
that's what I'm getting at.
To draw better ratings on a Saturday than on a Friday.
That's
and I think they want to keep the West Coast involved as well.
Right, but that's what I'm getting at. I mean, that should have been where they said, "Oh, let's make Saskatchewan, Colorado a Twitter game of the week." You know, regardless of their record, you know Colorado and Saskatchewan are going to be 1 and 2 in the division. No ifs, ands, or buts. That would have been the perfect Twitter game of the week. Saskatchewan and Colorado. So let's go through these. There's 4 games this week. And let's start picking them off. Right now, our standings, I'm sitting at 22-6, and you're sitting at 20-8. You picked up a game on me 2 weeks ago, but last week we both picked.
We were even.
We were even. We both went with the same teams for the obvious reasons. We both went 4-0. Now, we're going to save the Friday night game for last because that's going to be a doozy. Let's go to Calgary at Toronto. Toronto sitting in first place in the East. Calgary at 1-5. Struggling. This is always a tough game because it's the battle of Canada, so to speak. And they'll get together twice.
Mm-hmm. Toronto's had Calgary's number the last number of years. The way they're playing, they're going in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Even though Calgary had a good second half, I haven't seen Toronto take their foot off the pedal yet.
No, and I don't think they're going to either. Not in this game.
And it's funny because, again, Kevin from Laxbilly, he picked the game at, what was the score he used? He had Toronto 343 to Calgary 8. Called for Rose to have a hat trick, too.
Yeah.
But to get serious, I don't think that Calgary has the guns.
No, they don't.
Toronto's been very good at shutting down offensive stars from the other teams in the last number of weeks, both transitionally and defensively, as well as having Rose play stellar goaltending. So for Dobie and that to get moving, they're having trouble moving when they're not being stifled. So I don't, I say this and then watch it's going to be a 10-9 game. But I just think that Toronto wins big in this one.
Yeah.
They continue to score lots, and I think they're going to light up both Del Bianco and Scigliano big.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. I mean, obvious reasons, the depth. It's just overpowering. I mean, the last 4 games, they've just been going through the competition.
I also expect Hickey to have a breakout game too.
Yeah. So we'll both take Toronto in that one. The next game.
Keep in mind that the Toronto has been scratching a number 1 pick in Dan Lintner. Has a healthy scratch the last couple of weeks too.
Yeah.
You're looking for that other piece. He's in the box right now, playing left press box. So.
Yeah, and if he was in there, who knows what the scores would be.
Yeah, that's just one more sniper.
Yeah. But when you're running the way it's running right now, hey, don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly. Go with it until you have to.
Now, the next game we have Buffalo at Rochester. Military Appreciation Night. There comes
a close one.
Yeah, these games are always tough with Buffalo and Rochester. Rochester has lost 4 straight. This is the night they get off that 4-game losing streak.
I agree. I think Buffalo had their Champions Cup beating the Rush.
Yeah.
2 weeks back. And what does a team usually do, even with a bye week? What does a team usually do after a big win like that? Come out flatter than a pancake the next game.
Right, but they're also...
But also, when you put down goaltending, I think Matt Bent steals this one.
Yeah, and when you're going against a team that's lost 4 straight, they're now playing at home. Military Appreciation Night, like I said. Both teams will be wearing commemorative jerseys, by the way. So that should be interesting. And I think if you go to both their teams' websites, I think you could start bidding on the jerseys. But yeah,
I expect to see Triple D and Jammer both to have big games.
Yeah, yeah.
They shut down Crawford. I think they shut down Burns. I think they shut down Buffalo in this respect. I think the game that Rochester has needed to have is going to come out this week.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if they put up, I'm not going to say 20, but if they put up like 16, 17 goals in this game. Because they played that way in the first 2 games of the year. And I think they want to put their hat back in the ring to say, hey, those last 4 games weren't us. This is us right here. And I think Buffalo's going to be in for a long night. I really do.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, you got Vancouver at Saskatchewan. It's a road game for Vancouver. I'm not going any further than that. I'm taking Saskatchewan. Vancouver's only won 10.
Even though it's Saskatchewan's second game of the weekend and it's after travel, nobody's beaten them at home in quite some time, especially in regulation time. I don't think anybody's beaten them at home. And still, I don't think they have the weapons to go to overtime.
No.
And even if they put all 3 goalies or all of the goalies at the same time, I don't think they're able to stop this juggernaut. So I think this statement is a statement weekend for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, so we're both going Saskatchewan on that game. So on Saturday night, we each have Toronto, Rochester, and Saskatchewan. Friday night's game, basically for first place at this time, be Saskatchewan at Colorado. In the Loud House, you're going to have Dylan Ward going against Evan Kirk. Mark Matthews against Ryan Benesh. I mean, the pairings are just, Hall of Fame, like you could say. Okay, with these 2 teams. Colorado, the thing that gets me here is Colorado is just, they're averaging only 13 goals a game, while Saskatchewan is at 99 goals for the season. They're averaging 16 goals a game. I mean, you got 16, 13 here, and the goal differential, goals against Saskatchewan 69. Colorado is at a league low of 56, but they've only played 5 games. But they're still right on track, because even if they would play another game and let up 13, that would bring them tied with Saskatchewan. So they're only allowing 11 goals a game. They're going up against a team that's averaging 16 to 17 a game. How are they going to be able to knock it down that much?
Yeah. Like I say, as much as I like Colorado as a viable contender, I said it a little earlier, I think the Rush make this a statement weekend.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that has been happening is, even in these tight games, the Rush have jumped out to big leads in all of them, and then lost interest. I don't think you get that this week against Colorado, that they're going to lose interest. So the one thing that has been their Achilles heel the last few weeks of losing interest and having teams catch up isn't going to happen in this game. If the Rush jump out to a big lead, this game isn't going to be close.
No.
If Colorado can keep it close, it may be one of those, classic games. But I still think the Rush make a statement here and say, we are on top, and that's the way it is. So I'm going with the Rush on this game.
Yeah, I'm same boat. I just don't see them. Trying to keep my voice here. I just don't see them doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
I can't see them. They're only, like I said, allowing 11 goals a game. I can't see them reducing a team that goes from 16 to 17 a game and holding them to 11. While they're only scoring, 13 a game, and Saskatchewan is only allowing 11 a game. So, you got two different, things here. I don't think Colorado can reduce the scoring power of Saskatchewan by 6-7 goals while also increasing their input at the same time. Now, they may prove us wrong, but I don't say it. Like, we talked about earlier, the last three games they played, they got out the big leads and they sat back. They got bit on the ass by Buffalo in that one game. They sat back, let Buffalo win it, and before they knew it, they got gored by the Buffalo. Okay? It felt like they were in Spain. Okay? They were running with the Bulls. And they got gored big time. Okay? And that had to be a long... No, well, that was at home, that game. So they had a, Buffalo had a nice plane ride home while Saskatchewan was just left in the locker room with their heads down. And then the next 2 weeks, they basically did the same thing. So, yeah, just like you said, Gary, this is going to be a statement weekend. If I was Vancouver, I might want to hope that when they play Colorado, when they play Friday night, that it's an up-and-back game. Because if they take apart Colorado, Vancouver might as well just go home.
Yeah. If they take apart Colorado, it's going to be ugly in Vancouver.
Yeah.
With Vancouver.
Yeah, because I like you said, I don't think that they're going to lean back and just take it easy. They're going to come full throttle in both these games.
Yeah, if nothing else, I'm sure Keenan's been harping on it all week about what they've been doing the last few weeks.
Yeah, and he's got to be, I don't want to say on a soapbox, but...
Well, chomping at the bit would be probably an understatement.
Yeah, he wants to get back into this and say, hey, this is the Rush team that you got to worry about. Not what you saw.
The they were trying to put together was an exclamation point that it was a fluke that they lost last year.
Right.
What they're showing this year was it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
It was very possible to happen again.
Okay, so what you have here, basically, Gary, we're going with the same teams again this week.
Well, they just say great minds think alike.
Yeah, but what's your excuse? You got Saskatchewan.
It's a long week, so.
Yeah. Now we have here's the lineup. You got Saskatchewan at Colorado, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's tomorrow night. Then Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Calgary at Colorado. All these times are Eastern Standard Times. Calgary at Toronto, 7 p.m. Then it's 7:30. Buffalo at Rochester. Military Appreciation Night. Get out there if you're close by. You want to get to a game, go there. Same thing up in Toronto. Everything's real close. Then at 8:30 Eastern Time on Saturday, it's the Twitter game of the week. Vancouver at Saskatchewan. So you have Saskatchewan playing 2 games this weekend. Tomorrow night against Colorado at 9:30 Eastern, and then the Twitter game of the week at 8:30 on Saturday against Vancouver. Now, there's one other big game happening this weekend. It's the Super Bowl, Gary. I know it has nothing to do with lacrosse, but
That weekend?
yeah, that's this weekend.
Where does the time go?
Yeah, but just like your Toronto Argonauts won the CFL, you know, your co-host of this show and your Canadian team won their championship. I hate to say it, but I'm the other co-host, and now it's time for my team to win the Super Bowl.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a game. It really is. I think it's going to be one of the best games ever. I mean, I don't, people who watch Super Bowl don't go expecting, those 58-10 blowouts. Where the game's usually over by halftime. When these teams played in the 2004-2005 Super Bowl, or 2004, I should say, in that season.
That was a 3-point win, wasn't it?
Yeah, 24-21. So it was a very close game. Right now, the odds makers have New England as a 4 to 4.5 point favorite right now. It went down from 5.5. So this should be a very good game. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm pulling for my Eagles. It's long overdue. That happens, I may not have a voice for a few weeks. So it's going to be one hell of a game. So good luck to both those teams, the fans in those cities. Gary, this is your last show for about 3 weeks?
A couple of weeks, yep, 3 weeks. I'll be back by the end of the month.
End of the month, okay. So for the next 3 shows, I need to find myself another co-host. Because even though a lot of times I talk to myself, trying to do this show yourself it's not all that exciting. You can't get another opinion out there. So maybe I'll reach out to Evan, see if he's interested, maybe in doing 1 or 2 shows, see what happens. See maybe if Kevin's up to it. See if he's not too busy. Maybe if he's watching some of the games, have him come on and do a show or 2.
Evan or Aaron, they're both available.
Yeah. So either way, we will have another show. Gary, you're off to the Philippines, see your mother-in-law.
Yeah, to go see the family there and my mother-in-law, yeah.
Yeah, see, have a nice vacation there. As you informed me before we started the show, it's in the 80s and sunny and blue sky.
Correct.
And we hate you. But also remember...
The icicles off myself just so I can get through the metal detector at the airport. So.
Yeah. And for those listening to the podcast, it's a 13-hour difference. So whatever time it is where you're at, add 13 hours. So Gary will be a day ahead of us. Whenever, right now it's 10:05 Eastern. So in the Philippines it would be 11:05 a.m. So, when you're getting ready to go to bed, Gary's getting ready to go to the beach.
We're already there.
Yeah, thank you. Rub it in more. Go ahead. Go ahead and rub it in more. So that's where, we're going to be. So for the next 3 weeks, I don't know who my co-host will be. It'll be somebody. It'll be somebody that will be knowledgeable. So we'll just have to see what happens. And Gary, I will see you at the end of the month.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the trip. Have fun. Shouldn't even have to say that. And
all I gotta do is get through these flights.
Yes. And just remember, send in your picks for each week. So
I definitely will.
Yeah. And I'll post mine up there on the board so this way we know who has what, and we'll see what happens. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Kevin, one final thought I just have to say is thank God that everything turned out great, that you got that great news, that you can do everything you want with your grandchildren, with your kids, and just with your life in general. I'm looking forward to getting together with you If not before the wing season coming up, at the wing season, talking some wings lacrosse, talking to some players, and just picking up where we left off. So thank God everything came out on the good side for you, and keep on fighting, my friend. For Gary Grube at laxphilly.com, I'm Rocco Granato at lacrossewetrust.com. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all here again next week.